Okay, now that we are done with the importing the data from the CSV, now we also want to export the data to the CSV from the database, right? So whatever the data we have in the database, we want to export it to the CSV file. Okay, so for that, we will first consider exporting the data from one model, and after that we'll create another command to export the data from whatever table or whatever model we specify. So first thing, in the commands, we will create a new file and we'll call it as export data. Okay, so export data .py. Okay, so now here we will, first of all, we need to import CSV, right? So yeah, and first thing we will make the boilerplate of a command, right? So now you know how to create a simple command, right? So from Django dot, I'm going to copy this. Okay, I'm going to copy this from here. Let's make it quickly. Okay, so from Django.core.management base, import base command, and we also want to import the student model, right? So here I have a student and customer, so you can choose any one of it. Okay, so I'm going to go with the student. I'll say from data entry, from data entry dot models, import a student. So next, now I want to say proposed command. So my proposed command will actually be, this command is not going to take any kind of argument, because we are simply going to say python manage.py, and then we are going to say export data. Okay, so once I run this command, my database, the data which is in the student table will be exported to the CSV file. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. First of all, let's create a class called command. So this command class will of course take a base command, and then help is equal to let's give it a help text, which is export data from student table, student model, to a CSV file. Okay, next let's define the handle function. So handle function will take self comma args comma aw args. Okay, so now I want to do it step by step. Okay, because this exporting data will take some simple steps. So we'll actually say, first of all, we are going to fetch the data from the database. Okay, first of all, we are going to fetch the data from the database, and after that I'm going to define the CSV file name, right? CSV file name, CSV file, okay, or file name or path. Okay, so, and after that I'm going to write the file. So in order to write the file, we need to open the file first, right? So I'm going to open the CSV file and write the column, or I can simply say write the data. All right, so these three steps. Okay, so first thing, I'm actually going to fetch all the data from the database, which is in the student table. So I'm going to say students is equal to student dot objects dot all. Okay, I'm using all because this is actually a dummy data, but in your case, if you want to try some filters, you can definitely go ahead and try it. Okay, so this student data, we don't have much, right? So that's the reason I'm actually fetching all the data. Okay, and here I will get all the students. If you want to see the query set, you can see this as output when you run python manage.py export data. So here you can see the query set. So these are the data that I have in my student table. Okay, so when I said table, it is nothing but the model itself. Okay, so yeah, I have got the students now. Next, I will actually define the file path. So file path will actually, we'll make this file path dynamic. because I'll tell you why I want to make this file path dynamic. So file path will be exported students data underscore, we can name it as like this, CSV. Okay, exported students data dot CSV. But you know what, you might have seen in many internet banking or any other websites, when you download the files, they come with the file name with the timestamp, right? Some kind of current timestamp they put, right? So we can do that timestamp. Okay. So if we give this timestamp dynamically, so this will be exported students data, then this timestamp dot CSV. Okay. So how to get this timestamp now? So first of all, just above here, we will generate the timestamp of current date and time. Current date and time. So to generate it, we need the module called datetime from datetime. Okay, not from, it is import datetime. All right. So once we import this datetime, we will make the timestamp. Timestamp is equal to datetime dot datetime dot now. Okay, datetime dot now, and strf time. And you know what, you don't have to remember this thing. If you go to Google and search for how to get the current timestamp in Python, then you will get this code. Okay, datetime dot now strf time, and you can specify the format. Okay, so I want the format as a year hyphen month hyphen percentage m is for month, and hyphen percentage d is for date, and percentage h is for hours, and hyphen percentage m is for minutes, and then percentage s is for seconds. Okay, so this will be the timestamp. Now if you want to see how this file path will look like, now you can simply print it, print file path. Okay, so whenever you generate the export file, your file name will be like this, exported students data and your current date time. All right, .csv. Okay, so you see it was 14:59:30 and it is now 14:59:39, right? So this will be actually the current timestamp. Okay, so yeah, once that is done, we will actually open the CSV. We have the CSV file here, and we will now open the file. Okay, we are going to open the blank CSV. How to open the file? We already know, it is with the with statement. With open will take the file path. Okay, file path, and then it will also take the mode, right? So we want to write the file, right? We want to update something inside the file, so that is called W mode, which is write mode. Okay, so once the one line is printed, and we also want to say new line. Okay, so this is a parameter where this open function will take. What this is saying is, if you put new line equal to empty string, then that means after each line it is going to print the new line. Okay, so even if you are using Mac, even if you are using Windows or Linux, so it is going to print the new line. You can also specify \n. This is for Mac and Linux, but if you specify this \r, this is for Windows. But I don't want to specify anything. I want, in all the operating system, I want default new line. Okay, so that's why I keep it blank. Okay, so this way after each line it will go to new line and keep printing. So okay, it is not colon, it is as a file. Okay, with the open file name W mode new line as file, and then writer is equal to csv dot writer. Writer function will actually take file. So in the import data, we were actually taking reader, right? Reader is equal to csv.dictReader. It is because we were in the read mode and we were actually reading, right? But in this case, we want to write the file. Okay, so that is why CSV has another module called writer. So that will take file. Okay, so this is the way how we write the CSV file. And then the first thing, okay, so once it starts writing, the first thing what it is going to do is it is actually going to print the header. Okay, first thing it is going to print the header. So it is going to write the CSV header. Okay, so what will be the header now? So because we are actually working on only one student, student table, we will write the static header. Okay, so we'll say writer dot write row, writer dot write row, and this write row function will take list of fields. Okay, so in our case it is roll number. Okay, roll number comma name comma age. Okay, roll number comma name comma age. Why roll number comma name comma age? It is because in the model, in the student, we have roll number, name, and age. Okay, so that is the reason this is actually static value, right? So this will print once in the first line, and after that we are going to write the remaining data. Okay, so once this one is done, next we will say write data rows, right? Data rows. So now we are going to loop through the students, and in the each loop we are going to write the row. Okay, so how to do that? For student in students, for student in students, and for student in students, then we will write writer dot write row, writer dot write row. So inside here we are going to give the value to this column, this column, this column, this column. Okay, so let's see how we can give this student dot roll number, student dot roll number, and student dot name. Okay, and then student dot age. Okay, student dot age. All right, now only this much is enough. Okay, so once this loop is completed, so you can safely come out of this loop. Okay, how? Because as I said in the previous video, this with statement will already take care of closing the file. Okay, closing the file. You don't need to explicitly close the CSV file. Okay, so using this with statement, this will take care of closing the file. So that's why it is very safe to come out of this file. Okay, so let me explain this to you again now. So what we are going to do here is first of all we are going to fetch the data from the database. Okay, so once we get this students, then we are taking this timestamp to generate or make the file path. Okay, so we made this file .csv file, right? So after that we are actually going to open this file. Okay, so at this point, at the line number 20, the file is now empty. Okay, now with this statement we are opening the empty file, and then we are writing in the first line that roll number, name, and age. We are making 3 columns. Okay, roll number, name, and age in the first row. Okay, so once first row is written, then after that we want to print all the students from the database from the second row, right? So that's why we are looping to the student, and on each loop we are writing the student roll number, student name, and student age. Okay, on each loop. Okay, once this loop is completed, our code will come out safely because we are using a with statement, and this with statement will take care of closing the file as well. Okay, we don't need to close the file explicitly. All right, so once that is done, next we can simply say self dot std std out dot write. Okay, std write, and then I'll simply say self dot style dot success, data exported successfully. Okay, successfully. All right. So once you run this command, so this file is going to create in your root directory of your project. Okay, so let's try to run the file. Before that, I want to show you how many records I have in my database. I'll simply run my server, and okay, so this is my students, and I have 106 students. Okay, so I want to export these students to the CSV file. Okay, so let me stop this and I will run this python manage.py export data. Before that, I just want to make sure if things are correct here. All right, so let's give it a try. No problem, even if you get error. Let's see. Okay, data exported successfully, and you can see this file has been generated. Okay, so this file has been generated, and if you open this here, this is CSV file, right? A comma separated file. So that's why in the text editor it shows like this. But if you open it from your this thing from your Excel or CSV reader, let me open this. This is my file. I'll open this, and you see here, this is my file that just got generated. Okay, so that's how you generate or export the data from the database. So this was actually for only one student, only one table, right? But let's make this command a little bit smarter. So we will just give export data space customer. Okay, we'll give the model name, and it should be able to search for the model inside all the apps and generate the export file or export the data for that particular model that we gave. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video.